and welcome to the Naked Couple podcast with myself, Lee Taylor, and Aga Zimbushka. And today is probably going to be our most difficult podcast, isn't it? It's not a nice topic, this one, because 3 years ago, practically to the day, we lost a little baby, and it was devastating to say the least. And we've never really spoken about it that much, have we?
No.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we was planning a completely different show this morning, and we suddenly this popped into our head, and whether it was because of the date or what, I don't know, but all of a sudden we felt, let's talk about this, because there's probably a lot of shit we need to get off of our chests, and a lot of lessons that we could teach people that have gone through similar sort of things. And we want to show that it wasn't the end of us. It was very, very difficult. It was very, very hard to cope with, but in many ways it propelled us on and helped us become an even better family unit and a more loving and understanding couple. So there's lessons. We believe there's lessons in everything. No matter how hard things are, there's always lessons. And we learned a lot of lessons along that roller coaster, didn't we? It wasn't a nice thing to go through.
No. You know what? It wasn't nice. I still struggle to talk about it, and I always get really upset when it comes to this time of the year because you just can't help but think: would it be a boy or would it be a girl? What would he or she be like? How old would they be? And so on. And it's not happening, is it?
No, you have all those dreams and you have all those thoughts running through your mind when you get the good news, and you can't help let your imagination run wild. And all of a sudden, boom, it's taken away from you. You don't really know how to cope with it. And there's never been through it before. It was a completely new experience. I'd had a child in my relationship, you'd had a child in your relationship, so we both had successful pregnancies in our lives, but this was the first time it really kind of went wrong.
It did. I think what was really shocking as well is the time we found out that we lost the baby was the first time when we truly got really excited about it because there was lots of things going on.
We'd gone over that period of time where you thought, yeah, it's safe now. Yeah. Everything's okay. We'd gone through a lot of problems and a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? No one was happy for us, was there?
No.
We, apart from maybe a few close friends, there was no one really jumping up and down saying this is awesome, fantastic. In actual fact, most people was unhappy that we'd taken that step because a lot of people didn't really want our relationship to work, and that put a lot of pressure on us. And we'll talk about that as well, how we coped with that and how that affected us. But we just got to that acceptance. Okay, we've gone over that time. This is happening. Let's relax, not worry too much about what other people are saying to us, and everything's going to be all right. And then boom, it wasn't.
No. I remember that note in the hospital because we managed to get the scan, didn't we? And there was a note: please keep your excitement down because not everybody gets the good news.
I know.
And we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, we're gonna see the baby. But then we were one of the people who did not get excited. And
that was awful, wasn't it? Because actually on that day, we wasn't the only ones as well, was we? There was the room, if I remember rightly, it's a bit blurry, I've got to be honest. It kind of, I don't know, I thinking back on it, I can't remember a lot, but I remember there was a couple that was devastated. They come out before we went in.
Yeah.
And then, am I right? And there was another couple that come out and they was okay. They was really happy. Yeah. And they felt really guilty by being happy, didn't they? Because they could see this other couple were quite sad. And we're sitting there watching that, not knowing what was in store for us. And then we also went in and we got that horrible news.
Yeah.
And that was that was tough to take, wasn't it? And actually, we hadn't eaten, had we? We went for something to eat. And we went to this little restaurant we take the girls to quite a lot. And actually, going in that restaurant has never been the same, has it?
No.
Because we always remember
Yeah.
where we sat, how we felt,
Yeah.
and how we coped with just being in that little restaurant, struggling to eat, and come to terms with what went on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't nice.
No, it wasn't nice.
Talk me back through when we first got the news, what you was thinking. Not the news of losing the baby, the news of being pregnant.
You know what? It's an interesting story with us because when we got together, we pretty quickly started talking about extending the family and wanting to have a baby together, and we were ready. So we have been trying for the baby was fun. You enjoyed that?
I really enjoyed that. That was cool.
We spent a lot of money on pregnancy tests and stuff, and it took us, what, about a year?
No. It took me a year. What are you talking about? Yeah, probably about a year.
It probably took us about a year to conceive, and there was that happiness. It was lovely because we wanted it. But then as it happened and it became real, we got so much shit from all over the place. I mean, that's when the real problems really started. My mom and dad were not happy about it. I'm with the man who is still going through the divorce, who is older than me, who at some point is my employer. I've got one child already from my previous relationship. Do I really need that shit? We just got together. We don't know if it's gonna work or not. You, bloody hell, the pressure that your side of the family put on us and everything was just unreal because nobody was happy in there.
No.
When Annabelle found out, she was like, how dare you having another baby and not asking me permission if you can do it? And she wouldn't talk to you. She wouldn't answer any calls, wouldn't text you back. She wouldn't talk to us at all. So your mind was completely somewhere else. Your mom wasn't supportive, or there was not a single person who would say, congratulations, that's really good, I'm happy for you guys. And we made a mistake. I think we were so desperate to have that little bit of sympathy from people that we made a mistake of telling people before we hit the 3 months mark that we're expecting. And I'm talking about people who are our friends. And
I think we wanted to get it off our chest because we knew what was coming and we were dreading telling people, which was a horrible, horrible way to be. You should be so excited about this news, but we was dreading.
But that was the family, not our friends.
No, not our friends, yeah.
The family, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember telling my friend Alan, and he was probably one of the only people that I told who was generally happy, and supportive, and I was grateful for that. But you couldn't help feeling really sad as well that he was the only one. There was no one else.
Yeah,
maybe a couple of people locally that we told that was kind of excited. I can't remember now, to be honest with you. But it did make it really hard for us, didn't it, to have no acceptance from anyone in our closest family at all. We were just on our own.
Yep. And it created a lot of pressure in between us as well, a lot of tension. And because we haven't talked about it, I started questioning myself and you if that was a good idea, if we really thought about it, because there was that time when you said to me that you can't even get excited about going to the scan because of all the crap that is going on, and that really affected me. Like, it's not just me who wanted it, we both wanted it, and now you can't even get excited to go and see if the baby's okay.
That's right, because it just, the shine was taken off of it, wasn't it? And if we'd have had the attitude we'd have had now back then, it would have been very different. And we'll talk about how we changed our mindset soon. But I just want to sort of go through that process of how we got there before we talk about how it's so different now. and how it wouldn't have affected us so much back then if we'd have been a little bit more, I wouldn't say mature is the right word, but maybe thoughtful about how we deal with outside influences. Because it really was the outside influences that destroyed everything for us. Now, I'm not saying it's because of people's reactions that we lost the baby. That may have happened, it may not have. We just don't know that. You'll never know that. But I can't see that any of it would have been helped.
Nope.
By the stress we was under, the problems we was facing, and the pressure we put on each other.
Yeah.
Because it was really difficult times. It's
Yeah.
not nice when you've got your family telling you this, I've got my family telling me that, and there's no common ground. There's nothing there supporting us, helping us. We're just on our own.
Yeah. And I think, if anything, the people from the outside, they just built that massive brick wall in between us, because there was the time we stopped talking to each other, and I couldn't even be looking at you at some days, because I was just so angry that we meant to be going through this amazing time where we should be supporting each other, and you're so much affected by everything that is going out from the outside, with what's happening, and it was so different to my expectations. I had such a lovely vision and such a lovely expectations, and it was just destroyed completely.
Look, for both of us, and we dealt with it in different ways. And I'm not saying, I don't think either of us dealt with it well.
No.
And I understand that. I don't think our kids dealt with it well, but we can't blame them for that. They're children. Then it's not their responsibility. And I think people around us dealt with it appallingly.
Yep.
But it was what it was. We can't change it. It happened. We needed to move on from it, and we did. But that wasn't easy either, was it? Because all of a sudden you've got that numbness of losing a baby. You've got all of those dreams disappearing. You're left with an alienated family, and just the two of us looking at each other, thinking, where do we go from here? And there being bad feelings towards each other, and anger. And like you said, you couldn't look at me for a while because maybe you didn't feel supported, or maybe you didn't feel that I cared enough, because at that particular time I was still bottling up most of my feelings. I wouldn't talk about my feelings. I would try to still portray an image of happiness and strength to everyone around me, because I never wanted anyone to ever see me looking sad or down. And certainly with Annabelle as well, I would never want her to see me crying or upset or really sad, because one, I knew she wasn't happy about it, and two, I didn't want her to feel bad that Daddy was upset, but she was maybe not so upset with what had happened.
And I think that's what made me resent you so much at some point, because we never talked about it, and we just forgot we knew it happened, but nobody wanted to talk about it. At some point I was desperate to get things off my chest, but I didn't feel it was something that you want to talk about it. It was that time that you actually felt that it happened for a reason. It was good because at least Annabelle is happy now. She doesn't have to worry and stuff. And that time when you were trying to justify to Annabelle, yeah, the baby is definitely gone. Annabelle, you don't have to worry about the baby. It's not there. That was devastating for me.
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought it happened for a reason. This is good, but there was that sense of, okay, well, that's over now. At least we don't have to deal with all that shit. At least we don't have to deal with all these negative comments and people, telling us this is wrong and this shouldn't happen and being against us. Maybe we could just go back to being happy and everything rosy and, put it behind us. And we all deal with things differently, don't we? We all see situations in a different way. And to me, although it was very, very upsetting, I was very torn, because on one side of the coin, I could see other people maybe being a little bit happier, and that was relieving for me because I wasn't fighting against them. On the other side of the coin, I could see us not getting what we wanted and being quite sad about that. So what side of the fence you sit on, it's hard. It's really, really difficult. And unless people have been through things like this, it's very hard to understand. Very hard to understand how that kind of news can really impact you. And even harder to understand when you don't have support, or when you have a lot of support. If you have a lot of support and people around you trying to help you and pick you up and build you up and see you through it, I guess it kind of makes it feel easier. But for us, we never had any of that, did we?
Oh no, I had the support from your mom and my mom. Like when they found out that we lost it, there was a message, instant message, how the nature took care of its things, so it wasn't the right time, you see, and you need to think about it and stuff like that. So the support of what they think is right was there, but it wasn't the support that we needed.
It wasn't what we needed. That was
No.
relief from them.
Yeah, that actually made me angry.
Yeah, and there was an agenda behind those messages, and the agenda was, don't do it again.
Yep.
This isn't right, and certainly that's the way it come across, and that's not what we wanted to hear.
No.
But people have their opinions, and we have our opinions, and people have their own agendas as well, and we have our own agenda. And it wasn't until we worked out, well, actually, what do we want? What do we really, really want? What's our agenda here?
I think the way we dealt with it for a really long time was so disappointing, and there was the time that I didn't even want to think about having another baby with you.
No.
Because the scenario was so different to what I expected. And when it happened, it was devastating. Like it was horrible. I don't wish it to my worst enemy, and women who have been through it, they know what it's like when you have to take that horrible thing to clear things out of your system, and what it's like when you don't want to see anybody and you just want to have the curtains drawn, and you suddenly see people and the first thing they say is, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I heard about what happened," and you just instantly feel like bursting into tears and just running away and putting the covers on you and just not talking to anyone and not being around anybody. It's been really, really hard and difficult, but there's always a positive in every situation. I think I spent about a week without getting out of the bedroom, without eating, without talking to anybody, just keeping myself away. And then it got to the point when I had to draw the line on the sand and say enough is enough. I can't just be wasting my life sitting in the bedroom and crying over something that is gone. I've got other things. I've got Elizabeth, we've got Annabelle, we've got a lot of things. So I had a little rebound. I started walking a lot. I started listening to the books. I went back to smoking, and that was my little escape. We hardly spent any time together in the house. We were like, you're doing this, I'm doing this, you're going to London, I'm going for a walk. So literally the only time that we had together was dinner time, and that was it.
We didn't support each other like a couple.
No.
We supported each other on our own.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, how we felt
on
our own. You know, this is maybe good for everybody else, but devastating from us. But we've been so used to, I don't know, just fighting our battles on our own. We forgot to fight the battles together and care for each other and understand what each other was going through. And there was mixed emotions. There was so much going through our heads. And we'd gone through such a period of fighting as well. You know, the pregnancy wasn't an easy pregnancy because of all the pressures we had. just pushed over to us, and for the first time we started to argue. And instead of having that really joyous occasion where we're planning ahead and buying things in and painting and decorating and doing all these lovely things we should be doing,
I had none of it.
we was arguing.
Yeah.
And we was arguing mainly because of the pressures we was under from other people. Which, when we look back on it, was so stupid.
Yep.
Why did we let people get to us like that?
Yeah, but that's the lesson that we learned, isn't it?
It's a massive lesson because, you know, people have got opinions and they're entitled to their opinions, and if that's their opinion, that's fine. Doesn't mean to say we have to agree with it, does it? Doesn't mean to say they're right and we're wrong. If that's what we want, that's what we want. And that was a realization we had that changed things for us when it come to us sorting out the shit we was going through, trying to rebuild our lives again and get back on track.
I remember that one evening when we had a little bit too much wine, and I remember I burst into tears.
Evening?
Yeah, it was one of them. You know, when you have a few glasses of wine, you get the courage to talk about things that are uncomfortable and stuff. And I remember talking to you about the fact that we never even talk about the baby and what happened, and we just completely shut it down. But there's so many emotions and there's so much that it needs an exit at some point. And that was a changing point when we actually talked about, when you told me, I remember, I get the goosebumps when I talk about it. I remember when you said to me that it really affected you as well, and how you felt about it. And it was the first time when we talked about it, and when you sort of came forward with your feelings, and you allowed yourself to be vulnerable and to talk to me about it.
It's a huge lesson that I want people to take away, because we put on masks all the time. We pretend. We go through life showing the world that we're this way when sometimes we're that way. And for me, I just put that mask on, that armor on, that I was okay. I was strong. I would be there for you. I would protect you, whatever it was. But I wasn't going to show you that I was upset and going to cry and was weak, because that's not what I thought you wanted to see. You did the same. To a certain extent, you hid your tears. You stayed in your room. I didn't know you was crying. You would get up in the middle of the night crying. I was asleep. I didn't see that. You would go out for long walks with your book to get your head right, and you would smoke. I didn't see that. So you took yourself away, maybe to protect me. I don't know. And I put an armor on.
I just didn't think you cared. I just thought that this whole thing did not affect you at all. So me being upset and showing you how I really feel is pointless.
And me showing you how I feel would upset you even more. And I knew you was upset, but I didn't want to put any more upset on you. So I kind of pretended not to be upset, so you wouldn't be more upset, and you didn't know how I felt because I put that armor on and thought, what an arsehole. Well, I may as well go out and enjoy myself or smoke or whatever. I don't know what went through your mind at that particular time, but the point is, because we never showed each other our true feelings and exactly how we felt, we never understood each other.
Nope, and we dealt with it separately. We didn't deal with it together. There was no us in it. It was you and it was me. Yeah.
I'll pretend I'm okay and deal with my shit in my own time. I'll pretend I'm okay and deal with my shit in my own time.
Yeah.
And we went like that.
Yep.
You went that way, I went that way. And we tried to work it out separately.
Yep.
And that's not the way a healthy couple should function.
Nope.
You know, I've been there, seen that, done it. Didn't end well.
No.
So I know.
So you should learn your lesson before that.
100%. But this is the thing, isn't it? Life is always chucking lessons at you. We've never lost a baby before.
No.
We've never gone through that heartache before. That was something completely new. If it's a business problem, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have reacted that way. I would just been water for a duck's back. I'm used to dealing with that. If it was, a problem with one of the kids, we're used to dealing with it. But losing a child is, well, how do you deal with that? So you There's no textbook, is it? No one gives you a textbook and says, there you go, you've lost that, follow this. When we build our businesses, when we coach people, when we do things in life, we have a structure and we have a system that we follow, and we follow it and we know we'll be successful. If someone give us a book and said, there you go, you've lost the baby, follow this system, dun, 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 don't deviate from it, we would have probably done that.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be okay, but that doesn't happen.
No.
There's no baby there. Right, we've got to see the next patient, take this tablet, this will clear your system out, and rest up, and that's it. That's all the advice you get. And then you get people texting you saying, oh, well, it's all for the good, and, the nature is thinking it probably wasn't going to be a healthy baby, but you don't need all that shit. You really don't. And it affects you mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to scream. But you also want to hold it together for the other person. Well, I know I did anyway. If it happened now, I would be a completely different person dealing with that. You would as well. There's no way I would just be standing there, look at me, I'm okay, Aga. I will try to help you by being okay. It wouldn't happen, would it? It would just be so different. There would be tears, there would be sadness, there would be hugs, there would be comfort. Us talking about it now. I would never have spoken about this 3 years ago. I just wasn't in that frame of mind to be able to do that. Not because of the baby putting me out of frame of mind. My whole life was pretending to be something I'm not. Pretending to be strong all the time. Pretending to be happy all the time. To help other people. To protect other people. Not showing my emotions. Because I got businesses to run. I've got things to build, people to look up to me, to portray an image. But now, with a lot of work and a lot of help, I'm more comfortable being vulnerable, comfortable talking about stuff like this, and comfortable being emotional in front of you, because I know you don't look at that as a weakness. You understand me more as a person.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand me more as a person, you get more from the relationship. And you then can help me.
And we're in it together.
We're in it together. And it took a long time to work that out. It took a lot of coaching from other people, a lot of help from outsiders to make us understand what we went through. Counselling as well.
We had couples counselling.
Yeah, help us have this realisation. And the realization a lot of times was, we are in it together. We do want it to work. We don't really give a fuck anymore what other people think. We're going to make this work. So how are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start to go back to basics a little bit.
Let's keep trying.
Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying in everything. Let's work out some systems. Let's work out some structure. Let's work out how we support each other. Let's work out how to be vulnerable in front of each other. Let's work out how not to hide our feelings and talk about our feelings. And since we've been doing that, how's that affected the relationship?
Oh, it was massive, because the next question was, are we going to try to have another baby? And we didn't even hesitate. We said yes, and then we made that promise to each other that this time round things were going to be very different. And we knew exactly how to deal with it, because we knew that pain points that we have been through and how it affected us. So we, from being one in this side, one in that side, we got together. And it took us about, 2 months?
I would say so.
Yeah, July. In September we found out. And it's been amazing. I mean, we had the odd situations when there was a bit of drama and there was a little bit of stress and pressure. But I remember what was the thingy. We said to each other that when we had the first baby that we lost, we were not fully convinced that it was the best thing that is happening to us. And when we had the second one, we were convinced that this is the best thing for us and for the family. So when we talk to people, we presented it in a completely different way. We were confident. We wanted it more than anything.
And I think people saw that as well because, well, you've just lost a baby. Now you're telling us you're having another one. You must really want this.
Yeah.
And we did change. We went from a point of fear to a point of strength.
Yeah.
That, you know, we was fearing telling everybody. We feared how they would react. We would fear the responses. And then we went from that to, I don't really give a fuck what you say anymore, you know. And I'm just going to tell you this is how it is, and I'm happy. If you're not happy, you're not happy, and that's fine.
That was it. Like we said that if somebody's not happy, just fuck them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Does it? We're in this together. This is what we want. We're going to go for it. We're stronger now. We've learned from that past, and they will come with us or they won't.
Yep.
And some have, and some haven't. And I've got to say, you know, my daughter Annabelle has been amazing. You know, since Lucy's been born, the relationship been fantastic. The support we've had from her, the encouragement, just the family coming together. It's just been, I couldn't wish for any more.
But you know what, I think it was really beneficial, because what was really beneficial, I think, is like the first time round, you told Annabelle on your own, like you cut me out from telling her. The second time round, I said to you, I want to be a part of it, because it's not just your baby, it's our baby.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be going through the same thing when we cannot talk about the pregnancy because it's going to upset Annabelle. We cannot mention this because it's going to upset Annabelle. We sat down, we explained, we said what was happening, we said how it was made us feel. There was a few little tears, but it was nowhere near as bad as what it was the first time round.
The first time around, I dealt with it really badly, and I kind of guessed there wouldn't be happiness, and I didn't want you to see that. So I thought I'd deal with it on my own, as I always would. I'd deal with it on my own.
You decided to tell her at the petrol station, didn't you? Stop them at the petrol station.
I had no clue how to do it. I had no idea. It was something that was on my mind constantly. How am I going to do this? And that's horrible, because all you should be like, this is so exciting, I can't wait, blah 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 blah. And all I'm doing is dreading, and that's bringing me down and bringing me down and bringing me down, pushing me down and pushing you down as well. So, yeah, it was a horrible experience. I wouldn't wish on anybody, but it turned around.
Yep.
And, you know, no matter how horrible things get in life, it's never the end. Only death is the end. You know, it's never the end. There's always, it's just a new starting point. It's just a new starting point from being here now. So how do we get to here? So we then had that new starting point. Well, it's not the end. What do we do about it? Let's do everything as a united front. Let's not do it on our own anymore, because doing it on our own and trying to fight everybody and dealing with our emotions separately ain't going to work.
No.
It's going to put pressure on us, and we're going to argue.
Yep.
And we're going to fight, and maybe we'll be back to where we was. So what's different this time? We do it together.
Yep, we're in control as well.
Yeah, this is us. This is what we want. You're happy? Great. You're not happy? Great. Don't give a shit. Really don't. I'm happy. Yeah. You're happy. And we're gonna have this baby, and it's gonna be great.
Yep.
And we're gonna plan things, and we're gonna buy things together, and we're gonna get excited about things, and we're gonna do it exactly how we should be doing it. Not how we did do it.
Yes, because we learned our lessons, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We learned, and part of learning that lesson is just taking time to sit back and analysing what went wrong. What could you do better? You know, how can you improve it the next time? Okay, it might be shit. It might be really, really bad. But what can we do to improve it? It will be shit
if we let it be shit.
Yeah, if we would have gone into it the same way the second time round and done everything exactly the same, we'd have got the same result.
And then Lucy was born healthy on the 8th of May 2020. And it's just amazing how everything fell into place. It was a lockdown, and we had the girls week on, week off, which gave them the opportunity to bond with the baby so much. It brought our family so much closer.
It did.
And it's just been a game-changing moment since she was born.
I think that certainly the week influences that would maybe sway her, and she got to see us as a family and be with us as a family and be that family and enjoy it and bond, and that was wonderful for her. It was wonderful for us, and actually really thankful for that time we had all being together, and it just got better and better and better and better. And it was great, not just for us, but it was great for Lucy as well, because she was born into this really tension-free environment where we had lots of time to spend with her and do lovely things with her and watch her grow. And this is really, really odd, because we talk about visualizing things a lot and planning for the future. And you used to have a vision, didn't you? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was a few days when I realized that I had when we got together and we started planning the baby and talking about the baby, I just had this vision of little boy with blonde curly hair in this house, running across the hallway when Lee comes into the house and going, "Daddy, my daddy."
Yeah.
Yes, and I think I was having a bath and I was thinking about it the other day. And what I realized is that it wasn't a boy, it was Lucy. Lucy is blonde. She's got the curly hair and she looks exactly the same as that little boy that I had in my mind. And what triggered this reflection is that she ran to you across the hallway and she shouted, "Daddy, my daddy." She absolutely adores him, honestly. Yeah. It's like that I don't exist unless she's hungry, she needs a nappy change, or she's really tired and really upset, and it's mommy. But apart from these days and this moment, my daddy, my
bye,
daddy,
mommy.
Bye, mommy.
Bye, mommy. My daddy's
I got
here.
my daddy, yeah, you just go away.
But it's crazy that you absolutely visualized her years before we had her. Okay, you in your mind it was a boy, but she looks and sounds exactly like she did in that visualization you had.
I've got my little book. I need to find. I think it's upstairs because I used to write my goals, and in that little book, one of my goals was to have a baby boy with the blonde curly hair.
Which is mad, isn't it? Because you're a bottle blonde, and I'm obviously not blonde. And
bottle blonde, is that what it's called?
Yeah, come on, true blonde. Let's be honest.
The colour comes out of tubes, not
Does
bottles.
it? Okay,
Right.
Bottle blonde sounds better, doesn't it? And for you to think we would have a blonde-haired kid is crazy, really.
With the curly hair.
With curly hair, yeah. And my hair's a little bit curly when it grows long, so I could maybe understand that fault, but blonde, why? I don't know. I don't know how you thought it, but she is. Whether it will darken up as she gets older or not, I don't know. I think it probably will, but she is a little blonde, curly-haired kid that runs up to me shouting, "My daddy." And that's exactly what you thought. And we do often get what we think about. Okay, we know there's a lot of work in between, and we had to put the work in to produce that baby. I shouldn't call it work, really, should I? But you know what I'm trying to say here. You have to do shit to get stuff done, and we did it, and we did what we needed to do to literally turn our life around and go from on the brink of maybe splitting up, being depressed, being angry, being at each other's throats, being disappointed with each other. I think every negative feeling you could ever have about each other, we probably had when we lost that baby.
Yeah.
And to have no support whatsoever, but to turn it around on our own, I think was remarkable. I think it was. I know we ended up getting. I certainly got some help with Hattie, who really helped me with my feelings and becoming, more vulnerable and opening up, and that was massive for me to be able to then start talking about things. We had, as we said, some couples counselling as well, which was very, very good. Helped us make sense. I think the couples counselling really cemented the fact we want to be together.
Yeah.
We don't want this to end.
No.
This has happened, but we're in it to win it, and we just got to find a way of winning.
Yeah.
You know, and even he said, didn't he, that, you know, you can see it's there. What he felt you needed was commitment, which was marriage.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he said, I don't need anything because I was perfect. So
No,
I'm
you
pretty sure
were
that's what I
way
heard.
away from. He said that you need to love me the way I want to be loved.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You need to be present, be in the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned that as well. Yeah.
Shall I get the note?
No, don't get the notes. We haven't got long left. No, we've only got about 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, we've been on for 40
I know
minutes.
the notes will just take up a few days.
I
Of
enjoyed my
the
notes.
stuff
The
I needed fixing.
drama triangle. And
It was really good.
yeah.
And I would encourage anybody to do that. If you've got stuff going on in your relationship, then it's not quite right. When you don't have a support network around you like we didn't have, there's other people out there you can talk to. You know, there is a lot of advice, and if you get the right people to help you make sense of things, quite often it is just making sense of things. You know the love is there. You know you want it to work. You just don't know how to make sense of it, do you?
Yeah, I think Lucy changed our life and our relationship and our family so much and improved it so much that 6 months later we decided to try for another one.
Well, we wanted a boy, didn't we? You visioned a boy and you promised me a boy, and you said, I've had this vision. You're going to get a blonde-haired, curly-haired boy. And like, I got a girl, you got a girl, and it was like, fantastic. Let's bring the boy in. Come on.
Let's try. But it was interesting. This time we only gave ourselves 3 months to try. We put the dates, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and it literally happened on the last day of the 3 months.
Yeah.
When we decided to stop,
Mm.
and it was funny. I mean, we went to find out what it was, and I said to you, we're just going to get the confirmation that it's a boy. We're not going to find out what's the sex of the baby. We're getting the confirmation. And that moment when they sent us out to do a bit of jumps because he wouldn't show.
It was deja vu from Lucy, wasn't it?
We just looked at each other and it's like, it's another girl.
It's another girl. I can feel it.
We're not trying anymore.
That was the first time in a whole pregnancy that was it 18 weeks you can find out? I can't remember.
5 months,
5 months, yeah. So for 5 months we told ourselves it was a boy. This is a boy. So we refused to say it was a girl. We just refused.
There was no what if it is the boy. And people would take the piss. What's he gonna do if it's a girl?
Yeah,
you know it's a 50-50. No, it's a boy.
And cut a long story short, when we had Lucy, we wanted a boy. And she wouldn't show what she was. She had her legs crossed, and you was running up and down the car park, jumping up and down, taking Lucozade to try and get the baby active so we could see. And it come up she was a girl. Okay, fine.
We've got 3 girls. Fine.
Another girl. When we went for the scan with Luke, it was the same scenario, wasn't it? They cannot tell us what this baby is. We have no idea. He's got his legs crossed. I'm not sure. Go and run up and down the car park, drink Lucas, and that was the first time in 5 months we allowed ourselves to think it's a girl.
Yeah,
it's definitely a girl. It's the same thing over again. We've got another girl. What are we gonna do?
And then we said, well, it's going to be cheaper because we've got all the stuff from Lucy.
Yeah, we tried to justify it, didn't we? We tried to, every cloud has a silver lining. It's going to be okay. Another girl. We went back into that room and we were sat there and the lady was doing the scan and all of a sudden these blue lights come on. And
that was funny.
We didn't even notice them, did we? We're so looking at this picture trying to see if there's a willy there or not. And we don't really know what we're looking at, but we're just praying. And all of a sudden she said, have you noticed anything? And it's like, no. Okay.
Put the light. Put the lights on.
Yeah, what about the lights? And I've looked at you like, yeah, I can see the lights. And we're still going back to, what colour are the lights? They're blue, and we're still staring at the screen, aren't we? It's like, what's she talking about?
Just tell
damn
us
lights for. I want to know. Is there a boy or a girl? And she's like, she must have looked at us like this. It was so thick. And then she said, yeah, but what does blue denominate or mean? penny click, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it was like, a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy. It's like, oh,
I
wow.
think they knew how desperate we were to have
Well, we
that
told
boy.
them when we walked in, it's a boy,
Yeah,
didn't we? We're not
yeah.
leaving
And
until
then
we
we
tell us it's a boy.
just, you know, when you go for a scan, you get the scan of the baby, the picture of the baby. We got the picture of the willy.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They just focused it on that. There you go. You know, it's a good size.
And we've got our mud house completed, and you know what? Our family has been better than it's ever been. People who know us, they can see how happy we are. They can
100%.
see how happy the kids are.
But it didn't happen by magic.
No.
It didn't happen by us sitting back and hoping it will get better.
Yeah.
It took a massive action. It took a lot of determination. It took a lot of planning, a lot of heartache, a lot of talking through, a lot of systems and structure to be put in place that we could follow to help us go from that really, really shitty, horrible time in life where we nearly lost everything to then having 2 more kids, a boy and a girl, and becoming this wonderful madhouse where it's really fun, really crazy, really, really happy place to be in. And we know there's still people out there that are not happy for us, that really, you know, didn't want it to work and probably still don't want it to work. But it doesn't matter, does it? We don't care anymore. It's not affecting us at all. We are what we are.
Yep.
And if people love us, they love us. If they hate us, they hate us. It doesn't matter.
And I think there's a lesson like we get one life and we can't live the way how other people want us to live.
No.
Because it's our life. Do what makes you happy, not what makes other people happy.
Well, at the end of it, you cannot make other people happy. That's their choice.
Yeah.
Happiness is a choice. We chose to be happy, and that's what happened. And, excuse me, same with Annabelle. You know, she chose eventually to be happy.
Yeah.
And she accepted it, and she's really happy. She's thriving. She's doing so well. And, you know, she's getting better and better and better. Elizabeth, you know, she's so happy. I know she looks at the 2 little ones with you pain in the arse. You know, all I want to do is watch my program and Peppa Pig is on constantly.
It's like the day in the morning, Lucy walks away crying and she goes, Sissy, Beth, Sissy, Beth, up, kiss, hug.
And how can you not smile at that?
No.
When you got that coming into your room to wake you up in the morning, it just makes you smile.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing I want people to learn is to be grateful.
Yeah.
We practice gratitude daily. And every night we go to bed, we list 3 things we're grateful for each, which is usually 5 or 10 things because we can't stop.
Never
can we?
3.
It's never 3. We limit it to 3 because we want to sleep, but normally, you know, still chat. Oh yeah, and I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that. I think we do it for a reason because when you're grateful, you can't be upset. When you're grateful, you can't be angry.
No.
When you're grateful, you appreciate things.
You don't have fear when you're grateful.
No.
Fear and gratefulness don't go.
Gratitude,
yeah.
Gratitude, yeah. So we practice that a lot, and we're very, very grateful that we've got our children, we've got our family. I'm even grateful we went through that experience because we learned a lot from that experience, and it pushed us on, educated us. If we hadn't have lost that baby, maybe we wouldn't have learned anything, and maybe we'd have carried on. You know, me walking around with my armor on, you hiding away, smoking and doing different things, and you know, maybe it wouldn't have ended well. We don't know. We'll never know. We can't worry about it. We can't change it. We can only deal with what we've got now, can't we?
Yeah, life gets hectic. There's times when we just look at each other thinking, bloody hell, this is not easy. But there's never a time when we think, I wish we didn't do it.
No, I mean, there are times where you think, like, you got one crying in this arm, one crying in this arm. It's like, that one stops crying, this one starts crying.
Says, I'm hungry. I can't find my t-shirt.
I know. And it's just, you're looking around like, where's the me time? But with careful planning and support with each other, you can work it out.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to change any of it. And it's just gone from that real mess to success. And we know now that coming through that, we can go through anything.
Yeah.
And we can help people get through anything. Because you can't get much worse than that, in my opinion.
No, we had to hit the rock bottom. And then the only way was up, and we just zoomed all the way up.
We did, and we'll continue to go up because we don't rest on our laurels. We don't think, okay, we made it, this is it. We don't need to progress anymore. We don't need to try anymore. We don't need to get better at anything. We're always striving to get better every day. A little bit more. That's going to get us better and better and better and better. I think that's probably about it for today.
Yes.
It wasn't as bad talking about it as I thought.
I know. I was getting a bit tearful to start off
I thought
with.
you was. Yeah, I did notice that.
And then it was like, if you don't talk about it now, when are you going to talk about it?
I see your demeanour change a little bit. I was a bit worried when we started. You're not going to get through this. But sometimes just talking about painful things,
it's good.
It helps. Well, not sometimes. I think it always. Just talking about things, it does help. So I'm glad we talked about it. I hope, if people are going through what we went through, that was useful. And it doesn't have to be a loss of a child or a baby. It can be anything in your life. Just remember, if it doesn't kill you, it's not the end. It's just another starting position. All you got to do is work out how to make it better from there. And commit to doing something that's going to do your future self a favour, and you'll move on. You'll move forward. Right, we'll end it here, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, I need to wee.